Hi guys, today I thought I'd fit the Royal Enfield factory sump guard to the bike. I've had it in stock now for about 4 months. I haven't got around to doing it, but today's today. A couple of days back I bought the 12mm deep socket which I require to do the job. So once again it's here in stock and I can go ahead. You might notice at the moment the KTM's not in amongst the bikes, and the only reason that's not there is after yesterday's run I had it and the little KLX out, both bikes on the same day out for a bit of a run, and the KTM now has clocked 1250 kilometres on it. I'm 250 kilometres over my service, so after I'd finished my run yesterday I loaded the bike up into the van, took it off to the dealer, dropped it off, and he'll contact me when that bike's had its first service and it'll be ready to roll. While I was there I asked him about what oil they come with in Australia from brand new, and he said they come with whatever the recommended oil, I forget what brand it is now, the recommended oil KTM come with, and he just showed me a drum of the oil they use from brand new where they put into the bikes, and he mentioned that's very good oil and no problems with it whatsoever. So that'll be the exact same oil that's going to go into it when they do the oil change and that during the first service. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be ready to pick up because the bike wasn't pre-booked in for the service, and it was only just an idea I had. I thought if I'm riding it that often, if I don't get something done shortly and get that service, with 250 k's over, it'll go to 250, it'll go to 500, I'll just keep riding it, and I thought the best idea, drop it off. So it's now out of the way. Now while I'm at it, I had that little 230 out yesterday too. You'd be surprised how well, I only showed a little bit on that clip, but you'd be surprised how well that bike really goes up onto the hills I was travelling around, running it out on the seal section. I took it up to one stage of burst to 100 kilometres an hour. It ran to 100 k's very easy, and I was impressed at how well that little bike runs and handles all sorts of terrain everywhere. Like wherever you go it just handles it, and for the price I bought it for, it appears to be a pretty good bike for somebody that was just coming out and after a budget bike to play around with. And what I did find really good, it's got really good suspension for riding bumps, so even in the forest it rode over those bumps really well. So that's the story on those two bikes, but this one's about how we're going to fit this sump guard, which I've had on for this bike, like I said, for 4 months. So I'll get into that part of it now, and we'll go through the steps of fitting this sumpy, and that'll be another one on this bike out of the way. So let's go. I'm showing you a shot of the underside of the 650 Interceptor before we fit the sump guard. Here's a quick look of how your kit arrives if you buy one off eBay from Royal Enfield. So you just get the sump guard itself and one package with it with all the nuts, screws, bolts. So I just did a quick unwrap. You've got your main support which holds the front of the sump guard to the frame. You got your both side ones, and just 4 screws and washers to secure the plate to the unit itself. Unfortunately, the only real problem if you go for this factory sump guard is you're going to have to loosen off both exhausts. There's no way out of that to fit the sump guard because you've got to get behind a couple of bolts either side of those exhausts to mount the rear part of the sump guard. So it's just something you've got to have to put up with and go for it. So just thought I'd pre-warn you first. First thing, bike up on the centre stand, then we can head up the cylinder head. Okay, we'll undo the cylinder head ones here first. So we've got 4 of those. Okay, we've got one out. Number 2. We'll go for this side. Lucky I've got this deep socket. Okay, that's number 2. While we're on the left side, we'll get out this exhaust bolt here. It's also a 12mm. Now I think before I go and touch the back part of the exhaust and risk the whole exhaust system dropping off, I'll go back to the front here. First off, I think I'll go and find some tie clips, tie up the header pipe to, probably up onto the horn bracket. 12mm appears to be the magic number. So there's a fair bit of weight in that, with it hanging like that and letting it drop. When you actually pull that exhaust out, and because of the rear muffler weight, you know, you're handling a fair bit of weight there just to rip her out. On the other side, I think I'll try something different, just to give two approaches. Over there, I think I'll remove the rear muffler and then drop the header pipe, just for something different, and just see what it's like to do. And that'll sort of give two alternatives of doing this change over to a sump guard fit. Okay, we'll pull this exhaust. And that should give me the clearance I require underneath. On the other side now, I've removed that big 6 or 7 kilo muffler. We've just got the little header pipe there now. I never had any tie clips, so I had to rope it onto the side. Make sure it doesn't fall down and break me O2 wire there. But I think now, seeing I've only just got the pipe going along, it'll be a lot easier to manage, and I like this idea better. Now if you ask how long did it take to remove the muffler when I'm on that section, maybe a couple of minutes just to remove the muffler, and it makes, I think, and I'm about to try, the job a lot easier to manage. Remove the muffler on the right hand side, but I actually had 2 attempts. It's probably too late to do anything now because the muffler's over there hanging, but if I had it over again, I think this is the way I definitely would have went, just remove both rear mufflers and hit the header pipes that way, because there's just no weight on it. Our next target will be these 2 hex bolts here. These guys. And I'll need a W8 for that one. So we'll get into it. Okay, they're loose. I think I'll just do a dry fit of this part first, and then come back and Loctite it once I know everything's right. And I'll just tighten it up loose. So I've installed this plate loose, with adjustment in mind. So once we get to the right hand side, that'll be the sequence you go through. Got the bracket, the bolt, then when you swing up into the left. So once again I have the rear one mounted loose, so that when the sump guard base plate goes across the bottom I can adjust it. So now we're going to head to the front of the bike and we're going to undo this particular front mount on each end, just in front of the oil filter, so you can fit the front mount to the sump guard. One out. Okay guys, so we'll have a go now fitting this front base plate or the sump guard. So we've got the bolt, washer, into there, and take out, put the washer in, nut, and that one up. It's not tight, just finger tight. That's one. Get around and give the other hit. And that's the bolt, washer, washer again, nut, line her up, put her in tight, finger tight. That's complete. I'll do a pre-tighten on the front bolts and then work my way to the back. The front ones were the easy ones, all I have to do is now see if the back ones line up. Okay, this one's good. Just a bit confused laying down there which way to turn. Wondering if I had it right. And surprise, straight in. I'm ready to put the left side of the exhaust back on now, and I think I do like the idea better of being able to just put the header pipe on and then put the exhaust on later. This has been a fairly long session putting this sump guard on this bike, especially for this new camera I bought. It just takes a lot longer now to put a video together compared to what I'd been used to on a small adventure style camera. I'll have a good look at this after it's put together and see if I can see if it's that much more of an improvement or not. Just the effort to do it, because it really has taken a long time to whip it together. So a bit of blue thread locker. Just completed side one of the bike, so that went back together pretty easy, and I think I really do like the idea of having that rear muffler off, and I've got to swing over to the other side now. and this is all in one piece, so it's a little bit heavier swing on this one to get it back together. You've really got to see where you're going. No drama, but I still don't find anything wrong with the other idea. Okay guys, finally the job's done. So I'll just zoom in on it and give you a look.